Welcome to On Cloud, the podcast for cloud professionals, where we break down the state of cloud computing today and how you can unleash the power of cloud for your enterprise. Now, here's your host, David Linthicum.
Welcome back to the On Cloud podcast. Today on the show, I am joined by Manjula Talreja, and she's the Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer at PagerDuty. And she has lots of accolades into her bio in terms of lots of awards, things like that. Manjula, tell us about where you came from, give us the story, and also tell us about some of these awards you got recently.
Thank you so much, David, for inviting me. I'm so looking forward to the conversation. My journey, I actually started my career in IT. And as I moved in the IT space, I actually realized as the technology field continued to transform, my passion was really with customers. So I moved out of IT, moved into strategy consulting, then went to engineering, then to sales and to services. So my journey has really been more general management, but very focused on the customer. And that is why today I'm Chief Customer Officer of PagerDuty, where my passion is and bringing the whole digital economy to becoming more and more customer-centric. As regards awards, I do get recognized in the cloud space and have been recognized since multiple years, and most recently in 2023, top woman in the customer experience and customer success space, 2022 as well, and then of course 2020, top 50 women in technology. It's lovely to be recognized and truly a pleasure and an honor to be recognized. I actually am also on boards of directors of public companies, and an accolade and an award is coming in and a recognition this month in June as well in that space as well. So I'm humbled and honored to have received so many accolades and awards.
Well, you should be very proud of yourself. You got an extensive list of organizations that recognize you and in terms of, what you do in the industry. And that's helpful. It's motivating as, we try to progress through. Sometimes we're not aware in terms of how we're doing relative to the peers and relative to the market. So it's great having those awards to kind of remind us. And those are going to be well earned. I'm sure these are well deserved. And I think these are absolutely great. Very impressive. So what does a Chief Customer Officer do?
Yes. As the industry has evolved, if you think about it, every company is becoming a digital company, regardless of industry. And customer experience is a top driver in reference to whether it is revenue or dollar-based net retention. As software companies became more and more software as a service based, customer service organizations have evolved from just being reactive to the customer in answering product and company information to becoming customer success. And this model was actually invented by Mark Benioff, the CEO and founder of the largest SaaS company, Salesforce, and Maria Martinez, who was the president of customer success for many years there, and now the chief operating officer of Cisco. And so what typically chief customer officers do is they run everything post-sales. So my role at PagerDuty is I run the customer success or customer success managers who drive deployment, adoption of the software, professional services, the renewals team, the PagerDuty University organization, the technical support organization. But the area that I find really exciting in this space of customer success is data science, and how data science is used as foundational to customer success and how we engage with customers. And therefore, we are accountable to the top line of the company on customer retention. And more CEOs are asking us to be accountable for the expansion as well. So a pretty large portfolio of functions reporting into me, and basically owning all of post-sales and some key accountability to the top line numbers of the company.
So I love the fact that when you deal with customers, there's something that should be proactive and not reactive. I mean, my time in leading companies, in the past, it always drove me nuts that people are waiting for, something to catch on fire before they show up and fix it versus people who can proactively work ahead of the customers to understand where the innovations are coming, what they need moving forward, and have more of a link into that environment. And I find it's kind of a common pattern of success with technology companies, service companies, in my experience, is that organizations that have this proactive relationship with customers, where they can anticipate the needs, anticipate issues before they become issues, become the one that are more successful in the technology space. Have you found the same thing?
Absolutely. And, right now in the digital world, and if every company is becoming digital, that customer experience can be lost in buckets and won in droplets. And proactive communication, getting ahead of the customer and truly becoming their trusted advisor is so, so, so important. And that is the magic that is giving us the power today, especially in companies that are moving more and more to becoming software as a service company, on the magic of human interaction and data science. And those companies that figure out that magic are the ones that are more proactive and become trusted advisors to their customers and ultimately become the players that are embedded as a vendor to their customer, as well as within their company contribute to the revenue growth and the dollar-based net retention, which is the expansion engine across the company for their customers.
So what are the upcoming challenges and opportunities as related to working directly with customers, the ability to kind of translate technology, what your company sells, as well as services, and your ability to kind of understand where the customers are in terms of their expectations and anticipations? It seems like we're focusing more on some of the analytical tools these days and some of the data, but also the ability to kind of understand what the essence of what your customers are and what they need, seems to be missing from the equation in many instances. So what are the challenges and opportunities you see coming forward in customer relationships and the ability to kind of grow a business around a good customer relationship? And what do we need to focus on now, and what can we capitalize on?
This is such a relevant question in the current economy. And let's talk about what are their challenges and opportunities before we talk about us as vendors to them, our opportunities and our risks. If you think about a customer today, and I said that earlier as well, and I'd like to repeat it because this is so important. Every company is becoming a digital company, regardless of industry. And if they are becoming a digital company, they're in an environment where every second matters. If I am shopping and ordering something, and even if there is a 1 second glitch on it, I'll jump as a consumer and I'll say, let me go to another website in order to drive that. Or if a large financial institution is providing digital experiences to all their traders, and there is even a half a second glitch, they'll jump to another vendor, another financial institution. So whether it is a B2B business or a B2C business, uptime is money. And if uptime is money, what does that mean to me from providing the customer experience that I need to provide from a PagerDuty point of view, or any company that is part of the vendor equation with that customer? And in order to achieve this customer experience that they need to achieve, they must have an operation model in this digital interchange that is world-class. And we call it Operations Cloud, because they have to drive operations for a modern enterprise that has never been built before. And if I think about the operating model that they need to change, they need to change the people, process, and the technology. So let me get to then, what is it that we are driving in reference to that customer experience? And you mentioned it really well, proactive versus reactive. So proactively, if we know how and what is the business problem our customers are solving? How are they using us? We can go in then and have discussions with them proactively saying, we see, and I'll give you a PagerDuty example. We see that, you're not configured appropriately. Your productivity gains are X, Y, and Z. Your ROI is X, Y, and Z. But your competition and the benchmarks in the industry, and this is where world class is. How can we get you there versus going in and being reactive, saying our product does this, and therefore we would like you to use our product and you can use our product in this way. So if you have the data of your customer through your data science tools, you can proactively understand how are they using us, how are they solving their problem, and how can we help them proactively move from where they are today to become best in class.
Wow. I mean, ultimately, it's a ton to think of. And also, you have to consider how these businesses are evolving, moving forward. And let's drill down on one thing. You talked about, digital operations and your ability to, in essence, do this within either the organization providing customer services or from the customer organizations under themselves. What do we need to do to become excellent at digital operations? And what are kind of the stepwise things? And we understand that it's good, but what stepwise do we need to do to evolve into this excellent state of doing digital operations kind of at the second level, third level?
It is so magical right now, and I get so excited about this subject because it is truly the magic of using technology, people, and processes in new and different ways. So I think about this as three big vectors that can help us as we think about this. And David, many years ago when digital transformation was in its infancy, we used to talk a lot about the business model needs to change and the operating model needs to change. That fundamental is still there. And if you think about defining the operating model, it's again the words I often use: people, process, and technology. So the three vectors, I'm going to anchor on those. Number one is, in this age, there is no shortage of customer data. And leveraging that for data science is foundational to customer success organization. So let me give you an example. What have we done at PagerDuty? By analyzing that data and creating a robust data science team, we have something called the early warning system that identifies customers that are at the risk of churning for customer retention, but also may not be achieving the maximum value of our product and service, which I've shared with you. And a third dimension, which is the propensity to buy. So if I start looking at customers saying, are you achieving maximum value of your product, of our product and services and our platform? Number two is in reference to, are you at risk or do you have the propensity to buy? I can guide them in reference to how they can optimize their platform. They need to do the same. If they are in the digital economy, the use of data science is super important. And I would encourage those in the new world of digital operations cloud to look at data. What data do they have? And what can they do both in terms of predicting churn as well as predicting their propensity to buy? The second big area, which is so critical to operations cloud, is when unplanned interrupt work strikes, for example, a disruption on your platform. Remember I said seconds matter? Well, what if your platform is down longer than seconds? We know software, there will be disruptions. And at that time, communication and coordination is essential for resolution. And every company needs to think about what happens to their customer experience when unplanned interrupt work strikes. And this is not just the remit of customer success, customer support, and customer-facing organizations. Operations Cloud goes through, or operations platform for the modern enterprise goes through all organizations. the entire company, all organizations need to be working tightly across product, across engineering, across business operations, across IT and customer support and customer service and customer success organizations to drive that synchronized effort to drive that customer experience. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a couple of our customers the other day. One customer told me it takes them 8 minutes between their customer support organization and the engineering organizations to communicate. I don't know about you, but 8 minutes is a very long time in a customer's experience. I talked to another customer who said 70% of their disruptions and outages on their digital platforms are first reported by the customer, even before the engineering and IT organizations know it. And this is what amplifies the importance of having operations platform for the enterprise. So think about it as the second big vector on Operations Cloud and how you're going to create consistent, predictable communication with your customers, but also within the company. And that's where we, as PagerDuty, play a very important role in what we call customer service operations. So we can deliver with our technology the processes we recommend for real-time, predictable, transparent communication that turns a negative experience into a positive experience. And remember when I said trust is lost in buckets and won in droplets? Trust can be lost significantly if you're going to have an 8 minute, 8 hour, 8 days of outage. The third area that I continue to get really excited about, which is so new nowadays, is human beings cannot do this just by coming together with the whole operating model of people, process, and technology. It's too expensive to do it just through human beings. And today, every company is being measured on profitable growth. And that's where the role of automation and the rapidly growing automation adoption of generative AI is driving this new area that we all need to explore. I'll give you an example. Could you use generative AI to get integrated with your status update that teams can save cycles of time on what to say and whom they need to say to the various personas that they need to bring up to date? It can be just done through a few clicks. When an outage happens, can generative AI create postmortems for you so that you can learn fast? Can automation become self-healing when there is an outage that may not even require human beings because it has happened in the past, gets the systems back up? So going back to your question on what do organizations should do? Use data and create the magic about people and data together. Number 2 is think about how you're going to create effective communication and coordination across your entire company to drive that customer experience. And number 3 is think about what is the role of automation, artificial intelligence, and generative AI, especially since this technology is changing within minutes, within months, versus within years.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a big wave of technology coming at us and the ability to kind of use it in a certain way that's going to have net positive value within the enterprise. That's going to be the key focus moving forward. It's not seeing the technology in front of you because you see it now. It's the ability to leverage it in some way that's going to produce a productive end state. So changing a bit, let's talk about digital transformations and the ability to kind of look at the value that it comes in and how really should the internal business consider it. We just did a study at Deloitte where we looked at digital transformations as related to value creators within the company. So in other words, the ability to become effective at digital transformation, which led directly into increasing the value of the company into itself. And even if there was no net benefit to revenue at this point, but the ability to just kind of have this capability kind of made the company way more valuable than it was not having the capability. So what are the importance of digital transformation from the board of directors perspective? What should they be considering? And are you seeing the digital transformation arguments getting to the board of directors, where they're able to respond to it in ways that are going to be productive for the business?
I am seeing a lot of digital transformation definitely being discussed at the board of directors level. And I'll say it with two dimensions. One dimension is, how do we make a company more digital and get the human power to work on bigger and better things rather than the mundane, constantly repeatable actions? What that does is really drive to greater efficiency. There is a huge focus on productivity and cost effectiveness, especially in today's economy, to the point that I'd made earlier about profitable growth. What's the ROI? And how can we deliver an effective way of driving that efficiency? Number two area at the board level that is becoming more and more important right now is security. That is such an important topic in the industry, and the role of technology that's helping humans in reference to security. But I'll also go back to the third one that is being discussed at the board level, which is customer experience. You talk about the studies that you've done at Deloitte. I was reading a couple of articles from multiple firms like yours the other day. And what was striking for me is reading an article, and I'm seeing these kind of numbers that are coming from other companies too. Companies that excel in customer experience, who have digital experience, so customer digital experience, grow in revenue 4 to 8% annually above market average. The ones that are focusing on customer digital experience to be world-class, and their dollar-based net retention is 11% higher than their peers. So I believe you in Deloitte are absolutely right. This is definitely being discussed at the board levels, where the chief digital officer on a periodic basis comes to board meetings and presents from multiple dimensions, increasing company efficiency, security, and customer experience.
So where can we find more about you on the web, your work? Where can our listeners kind of keep up with your work moving forward?
Yes, I am definitely active in LinkedIn. Please do reach out to me in LinkedIn. Would love to connect with you. I also have published a few articles that I have written on in Forbes. I continue to speak publicly at many, many forums. I am publishing papers as well as I'm in LinkedIn and Twitter.
I'm sure a lot of people out there want to keep up with your work. And certainly this is important, considering the fact that if we're doing digital transformations, it's about putting the customer, at the center of the universe, and the ability not just to leverage technology to abstract the customer and provide different experiences, but the ability to kind of understand them better moving forward. And it's an area I don't think we're focused on enough. We have to have some thinking there in how we reevaluate the relationship we have with our customers and even our customers' customers. And it's a very important aspect of business. And as everybody automates everything, the playing field's going to level. We're all going to have great technology and great products. And, all these things are going to be AI driven, things like that. Your ability to provide a better customer experience is going to be a critical success factor to you making your business successful. So if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to like us, rate us, and subscribe. You can also check out our past episodes, including those hosted by my good friend Mike Cavas. Find out more at DeloitteCloudPodcast.com. All one word. If you'd like to contact me directly, email me at dlinthicum, LINTHICUM @Deloitte.com. So until next time, best of luck with your cloud journey. Stay safe. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to On Cloud for Cloud Professionals with David Linthicum. Connect with David on Twitter and LinkedIn. And visit the Deloitte on Cloud blog at Deloitte.com/US/Deloitte-on-cloud-blog. Be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app. This podcast is produced by Deloitte. The views and opinions expressed by podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Deloitte. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice or services of any kind. For additional information about Deloitte, go to Deloitte.com/about.